Awesome. Hi, Aditya. Thank you so much for joining us on Blitz Business. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Let's get started. So, Aditya, first, before we dive into business and all that stuff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been fortunate over the period of last 10 to 12 years where I've gotten a chance to work on a couple of 0 to 1 initiatives as such. I was an early employee at Reliance Jio, then the same thing at Paytm, then got help set launch Paytm in Canada, then moved from Canada to Tokyo to help set up Paytm in Japan. And then now here I am looking to move from an early employee to employee number 0 and into a founder mode myself. And I'm based out of Toronto, but very much a Mumbaiker at heart.
That's awesome. So, out of Jio and Paytm, which one you like the most?
Hey man, see, they both had a very different impact, right? One was solving connectivity, and then the other one was solving a fiscal problem, right? They very different companies itself. One was completely hustle oriented, which is, Paytm, and we were just growing at a pace where it just needed a very different approach. You were given responsibility, and then it was seen whether you can handle it or not. So, we could was lucky to be able to handle, opportunities, and I was able to deliver on them, and you progress. Yeah. So
So, what are you solving at Beacon?
So I'm honestly, I'm creating solutions for the problems that I went through. So we are solving, we are, as Beacon, we are a super app or an all-in-one solutions offering various different sorts of services for newcomers to Canada. And this is where we start. And this was when the idea basically came up when, as I was telling you, I was in Tokyo for 3 years for Paytm, and then I was moving back to Canada. Good things had happened at Paytm and wanted to buy a bigger space here, bigger house here. But I was 3 साल के बाद आ रहा था here. I wanted to go for a mortgage, and all the banks rejected my home loan, saying that you needed to have at least 3 years of tax filings here with certain numbers that I was looking for my home loan. And I was in Japan, यहाँ पे I wasn't getting paid, so I did not have the right numbers. So which reminded me of the issues that I had when I first came to Canada in 2014 as a student. No one would give me a credit card, paying hefty bank fees. The people pay up to, even to this day, $20 a month just to as monthly fees, right? Just to keep pesa with them, just to keep money with them, right? So that reminded, so that when they declared, it reminded me of all these issues being there. And on one hand, we are seeing in Canada is welcoming all these immigrants, but does not have any services for them to settle down. And that is what we are trying to solve. We are trying to make this big move that people take on to make it easier from all sorts of different perspectives. And that's Beacon.
Before we dive deep into, so how's the situation in Canada? It got into news lately for many reasons, but how are things? What's happening with Canada right now?
There have been major changes in the immigration policy out here. But if every country goes through a period of learning, and that's what the government has said, that yes, they welcomed immigrants with open arms. They continue to do so, but you have to make certain changes based on the realities on ground.
So
So that is
what's
where a
what's
little
that?
bit of adjustments have been happening.
What's that change?
Just after coming out of COVID, people didn't know which way things were going to go, and then inflation really took off in Canada. Things became really expensive. As a result, housing, as it's very well known, yeah, housing became very expensive out here. So anyone coming in as student here, it became very expensive for them to sustain themselves,
So
right?
can you give an
So that is.
example, reference, like what's the scale are we looking like? How much it was or anything, just to set some context. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, right. I mean, when I came in here, I came in with myself, my wife, and my 6 month old, right? And we were paying $1,400 for a two-bedroom apartment, and now the same thing in the same locality would be around $3,000. So
That's
it has become, yeah, it's become quite expensive, and that's something that the government is trying to work on right now. Yeah.
so they have curbed the immigration numbers and all.
They're trying to readjust based on what the country absorb in a way, right? And provide the best experience to people who are coming in. There are there have been cases also where the policies were used to for by bad actors for reasons that they shouldn't be.
For example,
So there are, people who are, and there are videos about this all over. There are people, students who are being guaranteed where that they will, that there is a straight track to permanent residency and citizenship, etc. That is, and that 100% guaranteed and things like that. We can say that, but that's not the reality. You have to go through a certain process, and then the process sort of evaluates whether it's a points-based system, right? Pretty transparent, but nothing is 100%. As a result, there were certain people who promised the world to people.
so is Canada still attractive location?
I think it's still there. It's still got the ingredients. It's got great institutions here, right? It's got transparency in terms of the process that has been laid out. They're bringing in more and more clarity into that as well. And from if I still am happy that I moved here with my family and would do it again. So yeah, Canada continues to be an attractive place for those who want to take a long-term view.
So how does it impact your business, all these protocols, measures? It does not impact you.
No, I mean we never say that it doesn't impact. If there is a 20 to 30% reduction in numbers that the government is saying. However, what we have to do, and this is not the first time that I'm doing a 0 to 1 in all sorts of businesses. You got to pivot. You start with certain assumptions, and then you see what are the level 1 needs, as we call them, and then we see how to deliver. Is there any other room? Is there any other target segment? Is there any other service that I can provide to people who are near the newcomer persona as such? So for example, we were initially focusing on people who were purely coming in from outside of Canada. Now we see, okay, bhai, now we will continue to provide those services, but can we do something for people who are already here? So that means our target market will suddenly again increase.
If I understood correctly, that is a basically आपका जो app है उसमें you are helping people, mostly immigrants, right? That's the target market, if I can put it,
That's a target.
who wants to have home loans, who wants to have education loans or something, like end-to-end spectrum of service, or like what is that?
Yeah. So yeah, good question, Ashish. It's like, we are a fintech, so we are a financial services first company. Life may you need a lot other services. So for example, Beacon starts providing you service right after that you have received your visa. It can be a student visa, it can be a work visa, it can be a permanent residency out here. Once you know that Canada move home, when you arrive at the airport, you won't believe the number of people who actually put in documents in their checked-in baggage, and those baggages you get after you clear the border security.
Hmm.
And as a result, the landing process goes from something that could have been done in under 1 hour, it goes to 8 hours because suddenly now you have to go get those papers from your bag. So there are small little things. So that is one thing. The next one is everyone needs financial services in terms of your daily spending. People bring in cash here to, because it's opening a bank account still isn't very easy. The big banks here charge a lot of fees, services. Sending money is very expensive, so they bring in money here, and then you still have to go to the branch to get a physical card, right? Or even activate that account. You can't even withdraw that money from the ATM. That is where we come in. We provide you can sign up, download our app. You can sign up for a daily spending account, a Canadian account. You can, from India specifically, you can transfer money into that account completely digitally. We are better. Our experience is better than, Wise, and at least 50% cheaper than banks. So you can now, and the bank account is actually active. What does that mean is that now if I want to book a place for rent, or I have to take on a short-term rental, I can use funds from that bank account that I have, my Beacon money account, as we call it, make those payments, which is not
So
possible with other institutions.
understood. So the account you're offering is a layer on top of the existing, I assume, banking infrastructure, or what? How
That's
is it?
right. We have a as it's known as a Schedule 1 bank, which is behind, and all the money and all the deposits that we get from customers, they're actually stored with them. So we actually never get to touch the funds from a security point of view, etc. It is with a level one bank, a Schedule 1 bank as it's known here.
Understood. And how difficult is this space? Is because I assume like Canada has been a big spot for migration. Tons
Yeah.
of people already migrated. So I assume there is a lot of established players for different
See,
services.
you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised as to how underserved
नहीं
immigrants and the newcomer market है.
है ही नहीं.
तो वही तो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि पीपल आर बीइंग इनवाइटेड, तो लोग आ तो गए हैं, बट नाउ सेटल होने के लिए देयर आर नो सर्विसेज दैट आर अवेलेबल. सो दे डिड नॉट प्लान थ्रू इट. दे जस्ट गेव पीपल वीजास एंड सेड कि हाँ भाई अपना अपना देख लो.
आ जाओ.
So that is a little bit of, and that there is a realization out here saying कि hey, we need to care for, मेहमान को घर बुला के ऐसे ही थोड़ी बिठा दें. So, so that is where Beacon steps in. That is where Beacon comes in and says that, hey, I have gone through this system myself. I've gone through all sorts of problems, challenges myself. So I'm trying to just solve for them.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
and that is, and that's where it happens, right? कि एक immigrant जब comes in, it's not just their life here that they take care of, right? I have my parents back home, my father's back home. I need to also look after him in a way. So how do I do that? So there are certain services which I was alluding to. अभी launch हुए नहीं है, तो बाद में अभी I don't want to announce them right away. लेकिन आने वाले. So it will make it easy for people who are already here. Beacon will be valuable for them.
So out of all this aspect of different things which you guys are doing, number one thing which is making money for you guys right now.
So we are just, it's an interchange based model. मतलब जभी whenever you make a spend using our prepaid card, so we issue a Visa card that is linked to all your balances. So every time you make a payment, there is an interchange fee that we get, which is part of any financial banking model as such. So that is where it comes from. When I said we help people from a remittance point of view to when they're sending money from India, banks typically charge anywhere between 3 to 4%. There we have also seen 5% being charged, and in our case we are somewhere around 1.5 to 2% mark. So there is that FX percentage that also adds to our revenue model as such. So
And
clear है, simple है. जब we deliver value to the customer, then we are like, we deserve something in that case. Otherwise, it's completely free. We don't charge any flat fee, no flat monthly fees like most, banks out here do.
got it. And so in this process, Aditya, to build this entire thing, etc., have you guys raised any capital so far?
Yes, we have raised around 5.25 million
Okay.
Canadian dollars, and we have been building for a year, and we'll be about to go live with our Beacon Money account in somewhere in the second week of Jan. We are in closed trials right now, so things are coming together.
That's nice. So tell us some good story hai fundraising ki. How did you raise, etc.
Oof, I have so many wounds with that because we started raising money in 2022 to talk about. And if you were a fintech, and sabhi e-commerce company, all fintechs, unke valuations were getting cut for the existing ones, etc. And here we were two guys. We did have some background in terms of what we were saying we wanted to do. So my co-founder also is, he comes from the investment side, he comes from the financial side, he comes from the regulatory side. So we had the right background in we had both lived in 5 different countries, and I had built financial products. My co-founder had managed risk, etc., for financial products. So it was a good combo, and that's why at least people heard us. And then they could also, a lot of people out here. So many of our investors, they are big family offices out here, and the reason they could connect with their problems is because in their businesses they were seeing how their immigrant laborers were having problems, especially on the real estate side, etc., on the construction side, where there is a lot of migrant laborers working there. So they were very close to that, and they're like, "Ha, bhai, this they don't want they want a happy worker is a productive worker." So they're like, "Here, please." They supported us with financial support in that case. So yeah.
In this entire space, Aditya, what is your biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge? Every business has its own challenges.
Yeah, first step is acquisition, right? And acquisition के लिए what do you need? You need trust first of all, and you
Yeah.
need people to hear about Beacon and who we are. Are we just so that gaining that trust and telling our story over and over again? Why do we exist? Right? Why that is very critical for us. So getting our word out, because every time we tell people about our product, they are like, यार if ये अगर ये होता ना तो मजा आता था. It would have
Hmm.
been easier. And how do we know this? Is because 50 Uber rides लिए हमने. तो to find customer problem कि हाँ भाई first तो था कि I face this problem, लेकिन are there a million Adityas out there? How do I know that? Who also face the problem? So we used to take an Uber ride in the morning from here to half an hour away. Or Uber drivers, there are a lot of immigrants who see, and if we see, notice that ये immigrant है, तो बात करना शुरू कर दो. और कैसी रही भाई आपकी, how was your transition? And then they used to tell us the problems, right? And we're like, okay, this is real. And then we say, अच्छा, if I make something like this, कैसा, what do you think? And they're like, yeah, sounds very good. That they will be they used to some people now these days. I still do that. Strike up a conversation, and so we have these cards printed out now. I hand over that card immediately. कि भाई scan कर लो and please join our wait list. And they are happy. They're happy to do that. So yeah, nothing like talking directly to the customer, right? अगर वो हमें देख लेगा कि हाँ भाई एक असली आदमी इसके पीछे काम कर रहा है, there's a real human being, and we have to try to tell them the human story, right? So we are not a single product company. We are a life cycle कि हम आपका वीजा मिलते ही मुझे फोन कर देना, and then I will help you how to get there at
But
different points in time.
what's the reason to become a life cycle company? Like startup का तो thesis जो main रहता है, it's typically like you focus on one thing, you go deep into it, you crack that, then you move to the next one. So what was the thought process?
See here, the difference between is mission and execution, right? जब लोगों को बताते हो कि आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू दिस, राइट? So that you are talking about what do you get today. Lekin if you are able to show people that hey, this is where I want to be in a big thoda sa zoomed out manner mein, so they understand, they are able to connect, they become suddenly your sympathizers कि भाई हाँ अभी आज के लिए छोटा है. सो इफ आई टेल देम कि पुट ऑल योर हार्ड अर्न्ड मनी आउट हियर इन दिस स्पेंडिंग अकाउंट, ऑफ कोर्स देयर थोड़ी सी हिचकिचाहट होगी, राइट? बट इफ आई टेल देम ये मैं कर रहा हूँ सो दैट, एंड देन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप ये भी है, तो दे फील कनेक्टेड कि हाँ ये बंदा प्रॉब्लम समझता है. And that's how we are going. So we are not saying that we are going to be executing all of this on day one, but we see what our roadmap is,
So
and then
how
you
do you
execute in chunks.
I got it. So how do you acquire customer? Like you are digital marketing, you guys are doing like कहाँ से रहे customer?
Yeah, we are doing digital marketing. Of course, that is there. Lekin, our important one, as I said, trust is an important thing, right, for us. So that is where we have alliance. We just announced our alliance with Deloitte Canada, which is one of the biggest employers in Canada. Everyone knew who is coming in as their workers. So काफी लोग आते हैं. Of course, tech workers is there, but also there are, auditors, etc., that come in from all different countries. It's not just about India, right? So all their international consultants will be offered the option to use Beacon. Similarly, there are schools that we are tying up with. There are other moving companies. A lot of people who come here. A lot of people come here from US as well. So this. It's not just about student and PR people, but temporary foreign workers. IT company के HR से हम लोग बात करने कि भाई, the one of the problems that happens is a software professional, he is just told कि हाँ बैंगलोर से उठ के कनाडा जाना है प्रोजेक्ट के लिए. And then there's not all companies provide the level of support that these professionals need. So we are like, okay, fine, we will help them out. And so we are also trying to talk to them and see what sort of services that we can offer to these companies. So it becomes a B2B2C go to market rather than directly just B2C. But you'll soon see some B2C direct online marketing as well.
Let's talk a little bit about the macro. So for example, like after this year's election, what's any impact in you're seeing of inflow of immigrants happening, or what's the ground reality on after election in US? How does it impact Canada, etc.?
We haven't seen the numbers. We only have anecdotal comments that people make. Oh my god, that suddenly Canada has become even more attractive for immigrants. But once the numbers come in, we will see actually the difference between बोलने की एक बात होती है and then actually executing it is another thing, right? So until the numbers are published by the Canadian government or any other government, it's very difficult to say. Suddenly that conversation is happening, but how many will actually execute?
That we have to see. Got it. And Aditya, what will you say, like top three things, for example, why should someone be in Toronto?
अपनी जगह है. The food scene out here now is you name it and you'll get it right now. So you won't miss your food. I know for Indians, there are a big vegetarian population here. People talk to me about what happens when it comes to. And the third thing is it's all about preparation. Um, the if it is a cold place right now, -5 degrees outside right now, but I would say, try to enjoy it. If it's cold outside, try to learn how to ski, and you will find a completely different Canada. Get assimilated, get transition into this new environments that you have. Yeah.
What will be your recommendation to people who are just moving to Canada? I know the volume will be little less right now, but still.
Yeah, I would say, see, here you still have to, a lot of people, right? What they did is that they did not do their own research. They did not, they just dependent on one of their agents, etc., to tell them and guide them. Right? अभी वो जमाना गया है. There are, so you need to invest some time yourself, talk to people before moving here. What do I mean by that is, if you are depending on what sort of visa you're coming from, on, right? If you're, for example, a temporary firm, if you're coming here as an immigrant directly, what I would say is start building a LinkedIn network here. Having a personal network is very important here to get your first break or what have you. तो वो यहाँ आने के लिए don't wait to start creating that network after you come here. Start that process before you arrive. The resume formats have to be changed. The resume format in India is very different than what works here. Don't wait to change those things, So if you save these 1 month here, 2 months here, it will make your life a lot more easier. So start doing that. तो आपका वीजा आ गया, आपका immigrant life cycle शुरू हो गया. So start working on it. So that's what I would say. And that's where we come in as well. So yeah.
And what are the kind of jobs which are currently available in the Canadian ecosystem for people, especially coming from India?
The economy is a cyclical thing. There is, of course, jobs in the service industry. Tech is Canada has always been this underappreciated destination for technology, even like high-end technology. I'm talking about machine learning and all those things. They were born in University of Toronto and then Waterloo, right? So yeah, exactly, Professor Hinton, right? So that continues to be there here. Anything, and this is the best time to be if there are so many startups. Also, the good quality startups that are getting funded right now, Canada is the place to be, especially in AI itself. So yeah, banking and financial sector is always evergreen, but do check all economic cycles happen. But tech is booming, man.
Tech is moving. So if I have any time given an opportunity, Aditya, to move from Canada to India,
No, I mean, it is, to be fair, and I just don't want to say, to give you an accurate picture, there is a lot of conversation happening, right? Because in the last 10 years, the gap between India and Canada has closed.
no, sure. But from your side, if you were given an opportunity, will you move from like your
No,
perspective, only you, not anything else?
no. I think
Why not?
Canada has.
Why not?
I think it's a personal question, right? So without getting into the details, it cannot be a blanket answer for everyone, right? So for example, I'll give you some insights into the decisions. Am I still India compatible? Can I survive in India? Yes, I can survive in India. I can move back. Can my wife do it? Yes. My son was 6 months old when he came here, right? Now I'm thinking, can he survive? He's breathing a air quality of 10 here. Can he survive in 300? Do I want to put him in that situation? He's also entering the teenage phase. Is this the right time? अगर 5 साल का होता तो अलग बात है. 13 साल का, अभी 12 साल का अगर होगा तो अलग बात. It's not a very simple answer, actually, Ashish. You know what I mean? But we travel often. work happens. We have a lot of partners in India, and think things go on. Would we like to visit more often? Absolutely.
Well, that's a good answer.
Did not. I was trying not to dodge the answer, but there is no right answer, right?
Yeah.
किसी के लिए तो काफी पैरामीटर्स होते
Well, I'll take that. I'll take that. In terms of then this aspect of people, a lot of people talk about the living expenses. So for someone moving to Canada, what's a good number? The budget they should budget, or because the numbers, as you know, are different, earning in Canadian dollars, etc., Indian. So, but what is the right number to sustain yourself?
Yeah. I think you have to, if you're coming in, again, the cliched answer will be depends. But if you are just a single person, everyone has their own also expectations of a lifestyle. But you can get by with, $5,000 a month as such. Comfortably, you can live. Okay. Daycare and all those sort of, of course, the the increase in the groceries, etc., that happens. Um, but मोटा मोटी उतना ही हो जाता है is a
Right.
good number
Good,
number
good
to
number.
keep in mind. Yeah,
Got
it's
it.
a good number.
And anything you don't like about Canada?
I think in terms of what we are trying to build, India is working at next level pace, and the modernization, the India stack that they call it, that you can build to create financial products is way superior than what's available in Canada. There is no Aadhaar equivalent number here. Making payments, there is no real time rail. मतलब यूपीआई जैसा कोई रेल है नहीं. अगर मुझे बिल पेमेंट करना होता है तो it takes 5 days to make a bill payment. Right. One thing that I noticed would have been easier, right? Would have made us go to market much faster.
I think ये वाला आंसर ना हर कंट्री में अब हर कोई देने लगा है. People from everywhere. In Germany, I have yet someone from Germany. UK is like ये वाला तो कहीं पे भी नहीं. Almost.
कहीं पे भी नहीं. You are right, right? इस तरीके में India is now way ahead, at least 10-15 साल ahead of Canada. At least Canada. अब मैंने तीन अलग अलग कंट्रीज में फिनटेक प्रोडक्ट्स बनाए हैं. Canada, then India, and then Japan. Japan has caught up right now, right? In terms of real time rails. जापान में अभी अभी आया है पेटीएम. किसी को ज्यादा लोगों को पता नहीं. पेटीएम इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मोबाइल पेमेंट सर्विसेज इन जापान. उसका ब्रांड
That
नेम.
business, right? That one.
सॉरी, say it again, Ashish.
They are selling that business, right? In Tokyo, the Japan business, their
Now
payment.
I don't know the latest on that one, but in terms of volumes and in terms of transactions, etc., when I came back from there 2021, it was we were the biggest by share of wallet in a way. Of course, it's a joint venture, and this is all publicly available information. You're telling me something new. I didn't know about that.
I can Google right now and tell because I follow Paytm very closely. Paytm selling. Let me Google it. They are selling the stake in PayPay. Is it that one you made? Yeah.
That's the one. Yes, that's the one. I don't know what's happening there, but yeah, there you go.
For $280 million.
तो अच्छा काफी है, मतलब अभी भी थोड़ा सा बेच रहे होंगे.
I think so. Yeah. Sell 5.4% stake to Japan. In Japan. Yeah. PayPay. Yeah.
PayPay. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So are you in touch with people with Paytm? Anyone? Do you guys talk?
We
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the sentiment of someone moving before they arrive here?
But Paytm is in Canada also, right? So you tried partnering with them also?
I used to work for Paytm Canada.
Yeah.
In terms of in terms of partnership, there is nothing to be announced yet.
Oh, really? But why is it? Like it's not like I think so. You must have tried or something, right? I mean, since you're ex-Paytm and in Canada, or it's not.
Yeah. I think Pele, as you said, you need to go take baby steps. Let's launch that product before we open up the floodgates to a company like Paytm. You need to prepare and get ready for that. So
Got
that
it.
is the stage that we are at, and let's see how things go.
So Paytm Canada is operational right now. Are they working? Like, they have a presence or what's the status? I'm not aware of.
There is no consumer product from Paytm in Canada, but I wouldn't have any other details about what they are doing in Canada.
So next आपका milestone, what's your plan now? What is the next अगले 6 महीने?
Next milestone, next one that we have is the upcoming launch of the Beacon Money account itself, which is the in under 30 minutes, do your KYC and open a Canadian money account, which is a Canadian spending account. We will issue you a Visa card as well, which you can start using from before you arrive in Canada. So that's the big one, which we announced, which we are going to be launching sometime in January, hopefully in the second week of January. So people should look out for that.
Very close.
And that, as I said, it is nothing like this exists, Ashish. यहाँ पे कुछ बैंक अकाउंट खोलने के लिए हफ्ते लगते हैं.
I just find it so hard, Aditya, to believe like it doesn't exist like such kind of thing, because I know,
Yeah. Try to, that's what I say, that until I got into the weeds of what the problem is, कि मैं भूल गया था. I thought this problem would have been solved. It's been 8 years. People will be getting credit card as soon as. नहीं, you go back and then you realize, oh my God, some progress has happened. कुछ नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है, but not enough. Not enough. And then you get into the weeds ki, acha, why do you need X particular information which is only available after you arrive in Canada? Why do you need that? Is it regulatory? तो किताबें खोली, नहीं यार, regulations में तो कहीं लिखा नहीं है, तो ये क्यों लगता है? Right? Then it turns out it is all business ways. These are resident products that have been created for decades, and updating systems here will take a long time for them. So rather than creating a purpose-built product with immigrants in mind, with newcomers in mind, what they simply do is take a resident product, उस पे $1,000 का marketing voucher लगा दो और बेचो.
30 minutes का आप कह रहे हो, तो इसमें how are you doing it? It's like US का equivalent जैसे social security, you have to do that and then it
जरूरत
gets.
नहीं है. No, you don't need a social security.
How do you verify that?
Certain markers are available in visa documents which flag us, and then if something doesn't pass the smell test, it goes into manual review.
But
So that's
is
how.
there a process to verify a visa with a number or something you can match? But I don't think there's a good chance. Right?
There is what we do. What is done is whether it has been tampered with or not. So that is what we check. So there are certain documents which have been a Canadian visa of a particular type has certain markers in them, and we look for.
Into how much money can you load it into this account? There must be RBI restriction also. Like there is a 200 grand remit.
Yeah, there is $250 US dollar limit to send outside. We comply with all those sort of things. So there is that limitation comes in for sending money out of India. And if you use our Beacon Remit product, it is inbuilt into that, and we'll flag you if you're trying to do more, etc. Sorry, say that again.
अब इसके अंदर 250 की डाल सकते हो, you're saying?
We can take in. So if there is a student that is coming in, so risk is something that if a student is putting in 250K again and again and again, right, then that's a bit suspicious.
Why?
Because typically that is not a typical behavior. Right? A student who comes in brings in 50,000 plus some kharcha pani, right, in the first year. So unless you're trying to buy a house here immediately after, as soon as you land. So in that case, then it goes into an what we call as enhanced due diligence process, where we will actually call you saying what's happening, QGA and stuff like that. Yeah, it's about risk appetite on the company. It's business risk question, right? There are certain because it is a Canadian account. Finally, there are certain reporting reporting obligations that we have, not restrictions. Reporting obligations that we have, like we have to say what purpose, where did this money come from. We have to sort of report it to authorities out here, right? And that has certain cost to it, right? So do we want to take that on? Right now, being just starting out, right? We don't. It seems we will accept it, but it seems it'll go through a different process compared to if you are sending in 50,000, boom, it's there T+1, right? और बस हो गया इतना. I mean, literally people to begin with.
And iske andar, if you have this in this account, so you can send to across states or something, or like it has to stay within or Canadian
It
ecosystem.
until you land here, it has to stay within the Canadian ecosystem, right? Once you provide us, you land here and provide us your Canadian address, then it's open and you can you can use it as your, without any restrictions.
That's pretty cool.
Because we have to take care of anti-money laundering and all those sort of things.
Yeah, that's
Why are you sending money, opening a Canadian account and then sending the money somewhere else? So all these things are like, risk profiles, falls
Yeah.
under suspicious activity.
and
Yeah.
it increases your costs also too.
It risk management sort of, and that's core, that we take that very seriously. Compliance and risk, that's at the center.
Wonderful. Awesome. Great, Aditya. It's a great product, great market. I think it's a terrific opportunity for sure. Jan mein aapne bataya next upcoming milestone is kicking in. Anything you would like to share?
जैन में है और उसके बाद एक फेब में बड़ा आएगा. फेब में बड़ा फेब में भी एक बड़ा आएगा. वापस बात करेंगे आशीष. एंड I think so that is going to be something that we are going to be the first North American company, first European company to offer, and I think वो काफी interesting होगा. अभी इतना थोड़ा यार, थोड़ा टीज तो करना. No. Second date दे देते हैं. It will make it very easy for millions of Indians who have not just recently moved here but also have been outside of India for a long time. थोड़ा.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for your time. It was such a pleasure, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks Ashish. Thanks man.